Welcome to Late Night Health. During the next 10, 12 minutes or so, we're going to take a look at something that's really kind of exciting. It's about colds, how to prevent them, what to do if you do get them, and how they're spread, how we can prevent them for you and your family. Our guest, as always, is Dr. Greg Celaya. He's a functional medicine specialist. Dr. Greg, welcome back to Late Night Health. You have a cold right now. You told me you screwed up.
Yeah, I sure did, Mark. I definitely messed up. My supplier of vitamin D, I have my own formulation, and I just wasn't able to get it. And I thought I had it stored up enough because vitamin D is fat soluble, but I didn't have enough stored up. I have autoimmune diseases, and when you have autoimmunity, you need way more vitamin D than the average person. And so I just didn't take it. And by the time I got it, it just wasn't enough and it wasn't in time. And so it's rare for me to get sick. But yeah, the vitamin D makes all the difference in the world for me.
Well, with the colds and seeing, patients, being around people who don't feel well, I would imagine that also lowers your immunity. Exposing you to more colds, if you will, than the average person.
Yeah, I don't mind being exposed. In fact, I really could care less. When somebody says, hey, gee, I'm sick, I don't think I should come in. It's like, you know what, it doesn't matter to me because usually my immunity is boosted so much that I don't have these kind of problems. So the problem becomes is when you do have a deficiency, and with me it was vitamin D, now what do you do? So when I got sick, I started noting that, hey, you're having different symptoms. I hit it with a huge amount of vitamin D, about 100,000 units.
Oh my!
Immediately. The problem was it wasn't soon enough.
100,000 units. I have to back up a second. I guess we've always heard that to prevent a cold, take a great quantity of vitamin C, and if you get a cold, again, take more vitamin C. Is that not true, or do you do it in combination with vitamin D?
No, Mark, there's so many different things that you can take for virus. And yeah, vitamin C is one of them. It helps reduce the duration. And usually you're going to take anywhere between 8 and 10 grams. Sometimes that may give you a little bit of diarrhea, so you back off a little bit, but it does make a difference. There's so many other things. So for example, elderberry. It helps neutralize viruses. You have zinc, and it helps with T cell function. And you've heard of echinacea. It helps with fungus and yeasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Curcumin, which is found in turmeric, regulates the immune cells. Glutathione, I don't know if you've spoke a lot about glutathione, but it is the master antioxidant in your body, and it really makes a difference for immune responses.
I don't take glutathione. I do take curcumin. And of course, I cook with it as turmeric. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And glutathione is an interesting scenario because some research shows that you have to just take the precursor, which is NAC. Others says there is skin topical type of forms that do get through. But I'm not quite 100% sure, and I haven't seen the research on those other forms. But if you take N-acetylcysteine, it helps boost your glutathione levels.
Oh, my. Let's go back to vitamin D. I just did was at a press conference. I videotaped a press conference with the Organic and Natural Association with the executive director, Karen Howard, and the president, and a grassroots organization that actually did some studies on vitamin D. Vitamin D is really important. In fact, I think you told me a couple of weeks ago, it's actually being considered a hormone.
Yeah, and the research it's growing. The problem with research is where is the money? And there's not a lot of money trying to enhance vitamin D because how do you patent it? It's relatively cheap. But there is research. It's getting more and more.
And vitamin D can help prevent colds?
It enhances the immune system. So once I take the 100,000 units, the next day I'll take anywhere between 30 and 40 until I get over the cold.
And on a regular basis, how many units do you take a day?
Well, that's a tough question. Like I mentioned, I have autoimmunity, so my body burns it up pretty quick. And so you should usually take vitamin D when you've got lab testing to help you understand it, because it is fat soluble and it is stored in the body. And you don't want to become toxic. The amount I take is usually a pretty crazy level, but it's all based off of lab testing.
And of course, when you go to the doctor for your annual or biannual checkup, you should ask for and get the results of your vitamin D levels to know if if your vitamin D is at the right level or if you're low. I know that last year I was low, and so I increased my vitamin D intake, and we have to see if it's helped, because I have taken it on a regular basis. And I understand, and I think you and I have talked about vitamin D throughout the country, in that it's not many people, a good percentage of the population, are deficient in vitamin D. And we're talking specifically, I believe, vitamin D3.
Yeah, most people are. In fact, in all my years, I've seen one person that was over, and she had dementia, and I would assume that she was taking way more many times a day and not remembering. But, vitamin D is one thing. There's other things, for example, juice, right? So, for example, this one is full of.
What kind of juice is that?
This is cucumber, this is carrot, and also a huge amount of ginger. So the ginger itself makes a big, big difference.
Ginger is also, I know, an antibacterial. It used to be used to clean things. And last night, actually, I was grilling some chicken breast and marinated it with ginger slices all over it. And I thought I'd throw it on the grill too, just to see what it would taste like. You can't eat it. It's too strong.
You can. It's kind of like eating straight garlic.
Yeah.
Which is another great antiviral, antibacterial. Something else is star anise, right? You see this?
Yes, it's a beautiful herb, and it's used a lot in Chinese cooking.
It is, and it's farmed in China, and it is an antiviral, and this is what they make Theraflu from.
Really?
That's what I hear.
Holy moly. So Big Pharma has found a way to take something that is cheap, and I mean, Theraflu is not an expensive drug. It's an over-the-counter. I think they mix it with some alcohol, or they may, and it's I didn't realize that.
But it's concentrated, so it's a whole nother story. I would rather take the star anise and make teas out of it, which is what we do.
Got it.
And I see, and it actually tastes pretty good as well.
Wow. Yeah, it's got a licoricey flavor.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Right.
Not too bad. And then you have colloidal silver, which you've probably heard of before.
I've taken it.
You have astragalus, which is another herb for antiviral enhancement. You've got monolaurin sulfate, or monolaurin, which is a lauric acid, which is from coconuts.
Wow.
You have golden seal. You have myrrh. You've heard of myrrh before, right? Scripturally.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh boy,
and there's a song, Christmas song, with that in it.
Right, and if you're going to do myrrh, make sure that you do it in capsule form. Don't do it in straight herb form and put it in water. It's pretty nasty.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty strong stuff.
So I'm going to admit something right here. I'm a big baby when I get a cold. I really am. And so I fight it all the time. I take a lot of supplements. I don't do carrot juice. The other part would have worked for me, but I don't know why I'm not a big carrot juice person. And I take a lot of vitamin D. What about exercise and fighting colds?
The jury's still out on that. I think that you need to listen to your body, and if it's telling you not to do it, you need not to do it. Usually you need all the energy you can because your body's not making enough, so to speak, and you're trying to fight. But other things other than vitamin D, like, for example, vitamin A, it enhances T cells. How about oregano oil? And it's kind of like
boy.
Right. It's kind of like myrrh. You want to make sure that you put it in a capsule form. You don't want to just put that oil in water. Have you ever tried that oil in the water?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It is nasty.
Nasty.
And it's very potent and powerful, but it does, that's a good idea. I think I'll take some today. I put it in orange juice, and it's easier to take because of the juice.
Yeah, yeah. And also garlic. So for example, we'll take garlic and we'll grill a few of them, but leave some of the other ones raw and squash them and put them on crackers, or quite a few, a lot. I mean, so much that, it's a disgusting taste, just like oregano oil.
Well, actually, what we do, and tell me if this destroys the properties of the garlic. We'll cut off half of a piece of the top and put it in a baking dish with organic olive oil and bake it for about 20 minutes. It softens the garlic, and then it's easy to squeeze. And then I put that on crackers or other things. That sounds good for dinner tonight.
Yeah, I think the combination, the raw is really important, because there's things in there that are damaged when you heat it. Sometimes when you're cooking it, you're just doing it to make it so it's somewhat palatable.
Right.
So, but it's great. Then you have eucalyptus oil, which is antiviral and antifungal. And
is that to be ingested or placed on your nose?
Oh, you can do both. You can do both. And also probiotics. Don't forget probiotics. Keep your immune system healthy. And that does make a difference, believe it or not.
Well, if people want more information on colds and fighting them, and with springtime here, springtime colds are, I hate to say popular, but I know a lot of people who are suffering from them now, and even into the summertime with summertime colds. You can find out more information by going to drcelaya.com. That's drcelaya.com, drcelaya.com. That's correct?
That's correct. And the secret to these colds are making sure that you're healthy and your immune system is in check, so you don't get them. Other things we didn't talk about mushrooms, and they have their own place as well. But the secret is remaining healthy. Once you then have a cold, you have to figure out how to get back to being healthy. And some of these things that we talked about can make a difference. But you can always go to my website, drcelaya.com. You can schedule for a free 15-minute consultation, or you can actually become a new patient. So thanks for having me, Mark.
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm Mark Alyn for Late Night Health. We'll also have this and others on latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com. Dr. Celaya, until next time, thank you very much.